Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada.
Namaste to all Sanatani Bandhus everywhere on this globe of ours. This is the Vikramaditya Strategic Initiative, the first day, and we are here to witness some ground projects by some very dedicated and very courageous Hindus working all over the globe. On this occasion, we have a Hindu thought leader, an author, an IS officer, Shri Sanjay Dixit ji, who runs the great forum of Jaipur Dialogues on the YouTube. I request Sanjay ji to give us the inaugural address of this VSI. Thank you all for joining. Let us listen to this kind of guidelines laid by a brilliant mind, a person from whom I have learned a lot. Shri Sanjay Dixit ji, welcome.
Namaste and good morning, brothers and sisters. Today, we are inaugurating a very important initiative. It is called Vikramaditya Strategic Initiative. But you must know what it is for. It is for getting all the dharmic initiatives together. Why all the dharmic initiatives together? Because there are a lot of times people keep asking that they want to do something for Dharma. And of course, there are many, many ways in which you can contribute to Dharma. You can contribute through your own effort. You can contribute through your intellectual contributions. And you can contribute. The simplest thing is by providing some money or artha. So, for that, we have devised this particular platform. In this platform, we are going to bring to you some important initiatives that already exist to which you can contribute. And you can contribute in very many meaningful ways. You can choose your projects. There will be a number of projects that we are going to highlight. We present projects of various hues, something like, narrative building, Jaipur Dialogues, we are doing narrative building. Then you will have helplines, you'll have anti-conversion platforms, you will have Ghar Wapsi platforms, you will have people who actually work for the refugees, especially the Hindu Sikh refugees that come from Pakistan. Then you have the anti-halal movement, and that is something that we have been husbanding for a pretty long time. You would have seen a number of episodes with Shri Ravi Ranjan Singh ji or with Shri Viresh Malik on Jaipur Dialogue itself, and they are running important organizations, especially Shri Ravi Ranjan Singh ji. So that is another way that you can contribute. Then reviving traditional handicrafts. That's also a very important work, because ultimately money makes the mayor go. And it is very important that we empower our communities, especially the traditional communities, which somehow been inveigled into chasing that mirage of government jobs and neglected their traditional crafts, and those traditional crafts have actually been encroached upon by inimical forces, especially the Islamic forces. And somewhere along the line, the halal is one of the prime examples, somewhere along the line they have lost their hold on their livelihood. So it's very important that we get them back to their basic culture of skills, and then provide them the wherewithal to run their business. And when they run their business and they are there in the field, then they are in a position to counter these radical forces directly. And not just counter these radical forces, also win them over. That is the narrative today. You have to ultimately win the enemy over and defeat its what is called that vocal minority, the AMM class, as I call it, and among the Christians, the pastor class. Okay, so choose your project and join as a volunteer, or fund these projects, or provide intellectual heft to it. Any of these three things, or any other thing that occurs to you, you can come and join and give it the heft, give it the push, and give it the power. That's what we need. This, of course, narrative building is the most important. I'll tell you this. So I think some people think that only action can do. Action alone is not enough. I am very clear about it. So, and it's something that, the Bhagavad Gita puts it in the most beautiful manner. And the essence of the Bhagavad Gita is in its last shloka. And what does the last shloka say? The last shloka says, Yatra Yogeshwaraha Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shrir Vijayor Bhuti, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, without being prompted, because that is not his remit. He's only supposed to describe what is going on. He's not supposed to give his judgment. But then he is so overcome that he actually pronounces the judgment. And what is the judgment? The judgment is that where there is the wisdom of Krishna and where there is the dynamism or the karma of Arjun, there everything will be there. There will be wealth, there will be prosperity, there will be victory, there will be firm policy, everything will be there. Therefore, wisdom and action, these two have to go hand in hand. Therefore, narrative and action on the ground have to go hand in hand. I think some people might tell you that narrative building is dry intellectualizing. They cannot be more wrong. No Arjun could have won the war without Krishna setting the narrative. So, let's be very clear about it. Narrative, action on the ground, all that has to go together, and therefore all of you are being presented with this unique opportunity, and they're projects on the ground, and there are people like us. You choose who you want to be associated with in any which way. We've told you at least 3 ways that I could think of. There may be many more ways of getting associated with these. With that, I commend and recommend this initiative, this Vikramaditya Strategic Initiative, to all of you. I hope all of us, the entire Hindu Samaaj, the entire Sanatani Samaaj, the entire larger Dharmic Samaaj gains from this and gets on to that path where we are able to worst our enemies. And we have many of them. Now at least we know them. In order to achieve that victory, please get on to the path of wisdom and action. Thank you. Happy watching.
That was really something. I have been one of the shishyas of Sanjay ji who used to say no, action is the only thing, and he gradually brought me around to this narrative building. I completely agree with Sanjay ji that the narrative building has to be there first. Without Shri Krishna, Arjuna is nothing. So without further ado, now we go on to the projects, and I introduce you to the host of the evening or the morning here in Bharat, Richa Gautam. Richa has been very actively supporting us in Namaste, Richa ji. Kaisi hain? How are you doing?
Thank you.
So Richa has been very actively working with us for past 3 months now, when we were collecting these projects and documenting them and putting them in an order. So she's from the United States, Colorado. And over to you, Richa, for the next couple of hours as you take us through these beautiful presentations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Omiji. And welcome everyone to Vikramaditya Strategic Initiative. And I want to start off by saying, a little bit about our Dharma. I've heard that there were 46 civilizations that existed on this earth for a long, long time. And today, as an unbroken chain, the Indian civilization or the Hindu civilization is the only one that survives. And many of us feel that it is largely because of the Vedic, knowledge and the spirituality that existed in India from the Himalayas to Rameswaram. And, that is what thrived and revived and, kept it going. Of course, that is one of the things. But also, every time there was an attack on our civilization, on Dharma, there were men, women, children that rose up to fight for civic engagement, through political engagement, through social, reforms, and they continued to lay their lives for this process, or do some work towards Dharma. And that is why we are these fortunate few that continue this unbroken chain in this long-lasting civilization. And that process needs to continue. If we have to revive, the Renaissance has to continue. And we are lucky that there are people on the ground that are continuing this kind of work in India. And today we are fortunate through our platform to bring to you 4 of these projects today. This program will continue this weekend and the coming weekend. And I hope all of you continue to engage with us and participate and learn about these wonderful projects. I want to start off with one unique project that is very close to my heart. And this project is called Hindu Seva Kendram. And I would like to invite Dr. Shashi Vishwanath to give us a detailed understanding of the work that he's doing in Kerala. Kerala, where Hindus are facing an existential crisis through continued slow decline, since 1901 till now, we have seen a, accelerating decline. And one of the worries is Kerala going to be the next Kashmir? So I would like to invite Dr. Shashi Vishwanath to give us an insight into his work and the path-breaking, project that Hindu Seva Kendram executes on the ground, and tell us a little bit more about Kerala and other states where they're expanding their work. Welcome, Dr. Shashi Vishwanath.
My name is Dr. Vishwanath. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. I'm a Hindu activist originally from the state of Kerala. And today I want to talk about the state of Kerala as it is now, the state of Dharma in Kerala, what's going on, and what we are trying to do to save our Dharma from extinction. So this presentation is a shortened form. We have a much longer detailed presentation, but due to lack of time, I'm forced to cut back. However, if any of you want to talk more about it or know more about it, I'll be glad to personally present you a much longer detailed version. So at this point, let me share this presentation. This is a presentation of what is happening in Kerala. Kerala obviously is on the point of no return. There is no doubt. Kerala is really on the brink, and unless something is done dramatically, we cannot save the state. And the current status, Kerala is becoming another Kashmir. It's the next Kashmir, no doubt. Sanatana Dharma is under threat in every state in India, especially in Kerala. Right now, if you look at the average Hindu in Kerala, the average Hindu gets approached by another Hindu only for 2 things, either for donations or for votes. But then the average Hindu has life and death issues too, major life and death issues, but he has nowhere to go. She has nowhere to go. In other words, Hindus do not have a social support structure. So when there is a real problem, Hindus have nowhere to go, unlike other religions. So this is the basic problem we have. In Kerala, there are a lot of things we feel proud about Sanatana Dharma, land granted by Parshuram, Adi Shankara's land, Srinarayana Guru's land, Kalari's land, the cradle of Ayurveda, the land of Ayyappa, the list goes on. But you know what? We are losing all of this. All of these are fading away as we speak. In a few years, all of these are going to be in a museum where tourists will come to see the culture of Kerala, the Hindu culture of Kerala, and they will come in the millions, but there will be no Hindus left. Just like what we see in Egypt. If you look at Hindus in Kerala, our population has declined from 1901. Every 10 years, a 1.5% drop. And after 2011, this rate has accelerated. And now we are a minority, 45% Hindus. Our birth rate is dropping. The Hindu fertility rate in Kerala is the lowest in India. No matter how you look at it, language-wise, religion-wise, the lowest in India, 1.54, well below the replacement value of 2.1. With that 1.54, no culture can survive, no population, no language, no arts, no temples, no acharyas, no ashrams, nothing will survive. So this is our death knell. Look at Kashmir as a comparison, almost doubled in 15 years. In spite of daily curfews, schools closed, hospitals closed, no internet, no TV, no jobs, no food. Look at what happened to the birth rate in Kashmir. There's a lot to be learned from this. And if you look at Kerala, Hindu median age is higher, our family size is lower. All this reflects nothing but an aging population, less children. And most Hindus are simply not aware that this is a demographic bomb about to explode. These are some developmental data. In Kerala, if you look at Hindu households, we are the lowest. We score well behind other religions. In other words, we are not only a minority, we are a poor minority. In certain things, Hindus score highest. How? Suicides. Hindus form 92% of all the suicide victims in Kerala. Almost 100 in that sense. Poverty. In Kerala, people do starve, but the only difference is 100% are Hindus. Political power, 0%. Entrepreneurship or business ownership or the business share of Kerala, in Kerala, Hindu share is less than 15%. I can give you more data. The money in the banks, Hindu share 9%. So Hindus are in pretty bad shape in every way in Kerala. Of course, this is not a Kerala only issue. Other parts of India are going through the same process, but a little behind us, that's all. I had to put a few examples. There's a lot more, but I put some examples. It's just a matter of time. Once Kerala leaves, the rest of the country will begin to disintegrate pretty quickly. So this is one way we show the Hindu problems in Kerala. On the surface, we see things like Sabrimala, love jihad. These are all active issues. I'm not saying they're not active issues. They're active issues, but much bigger and sinister issues are lurking below the surface. Like high suicide rates I talked about. Our population is declining. Silent conversions. I should say silent, massive conversion. Hundreds of thousands of Hindus get silently converted in Kerala. It's a big issue, and I am not exaggerating. And of course, the final threat, geographic elimination. We are wiped off the map. We are forced to flee, and we have to go and live in a refugee camp, but there is one condition. That refugee camp must be situated in a state where Hindus are still in a majority. So find a Hindu majority state and go to a refugee camp. That is the final threat, geographic elimination. Of course, this is complete in Kashmir. This is complete in Pakistan, almost complete in Bangladesh, and is happening as we speak in parts of Kerala. So the question is, what has been done? I want to highlight one organization called the Kerala Hindu Helpline, which was established in 2006 because Hindus have no social support system, very high rates of unemployment, suicides, and poverty. We set this up in 2006 as a 24-hour hotline. In a way, it was the very first Hindu hotline I can remember. This is the number. It's available 24/7. And professionally, this phone will be answered, and we will talk to them, find out what's going on. If there is any way we can help, we help. And we get hundreds of phone calls on this number. Starving Hindus, suicidal Hindus, Hindus who have lost their daughters to love jihad, Hindus who have no access to education, people who cannot afford medicines, homeless Hindus, you name it. We get so many calls, and we are trying our best to do this for the last almost 15 years. We have been doing it. However, the ground reality is, in spite of numerous Hindu organizations, 184 Hindu organizations in Kerala to be exact, they all do good work, well-intentioned work. They all do whatever they're supposed to do. However, Hinduism is declining. If you look at the data, every year our numbers, our political strength, our economic strength, educational strength, everything is shrinking. So our time is running out. We don't have much time left in Kerala unless something is done very quickly. Because of this, we had to think deep and hard and come up with a very quick solution. And the solution we came up with is called the Hindu Seva Kendram. Hindu Seva Kendram is a unique concept, one of a kind, the very first such attempt in Sanatana Dharma. Nowhere else has this been attempted. Hindu Seva Kendram is a micro-level institution, one in each panchayat. Panchayat being the smallest administrative unit in India. One in every panchayat, where any Hindu can walk in 24/7 and ask for help, and we'll provide them help. It doesn't matter what caste they are from, what political party they're from, or what's their origin, which organization they belong to. Nothing matters. We help every Hindu, and we avoid all of these divisions and go out to every Hindu in the community. Like I said, no politics. Any issues facing Hindus, take action in that panchayat and solve it locally. Complete cessation of religious conversion. We have achieved it. Forced religious conversion, we have completely stopped in every panchayat we have worked so far. We have been able to do that quickly. And of course, nurturing young talent, training youngsters to become entrepreneurs. Remember, our business ownership rate is very poor in Kerala, so we had to bring it up. Of course, marital counseling for youngsters to have them marry not only at an early age, they should also have more children. And Hindu Seva Kendram will have a full-time worker, and the Seva Kendram will hold land and office space. It will have computers, internet, and it will work with every Hindu entity in the panchayat, temples, other Hindu organizations, ashrams, even political parties. If a Hindu is a member of that political party, our doors are open for a frank discussion. We may or may not personally agree with that political party, but the Hindu Seva Kendram doors are open provided that political party has Hindus in it. And the last thing, which is the most important part of our work, is the database. It's the Hindu database of the panchayat. There is no Hindu database anywhere in the world now. Anywhere you go to a panchayat and say how many men, how many women, how many widows, how many alcoholics, how many people with cancer, how many girls who need help with education, how many girls who cannot be married off because they don't have the money to afford a marriage function. You'll be surprised, thousands of them. So we have to get the data. Nobody has the Hindu database. And so we start our work by creating a Hindu database in every panchayat. We have other programs we have been doing for years. One is called Anna Lakshmi Yojana, where Hindus in a particular area, well-off Hindus come together and give rice and groceries to poor Hindus in the same panchayat. And we've been doing it for many years. This is a voluntary program where Hindus help other Hindus around them. And we have been helping about 3,500 Hindus every month for the last several years. Of course, with the corona, that number has gone up quite a bit. We also have a very important initiative called Sanjeevani, which is meant for critically ill or terminally ill Hindus to give them free medical aid and financial support. So this distills down to one disease, which is cancer, which is epidemic in Kerala. Because cancer treatment is extremely expensive and complicated. Most poor Hindus cannot afford it. Therefore, what do? Either they go home, lie down and die in pain, or they go to the nearest church and convert, because if they convert, they get free treatment. This is a huge problem. Thousands of people convert silently to live. They just want to live. I can't blame them for that. Nobody can blame them. They're converting to live. So Sanjeevani is meant to make an inroad into this. So we have about 500 doctors who volunteered free consultation. So any poor Hindu cancer patient, we can assure them free consultation in the state of Kerala. Free medicines, that's a totally different ballgame, very expensive. We simply don't have the financial resources to go there, even though we are trying bits and pieces. Of course, we work against forced conversion. Remember, most conversions start from hunger or financial crisis, especially when it happens quickly. And Hindu Helpline and the Hindu Seva Kendram has intervened in more than 20,000 such cases. Especially the 24-hour hotline is very useful for that. And we have tried our best to create public awareness of the Hindu issues in Kerala, how we are sinking. But of course, our mainstream media is always silent. We also have a free legal assistance cells where we have lawyers who volunteer their time and on every Hindu issue all the way to the Supreme Court. And we are fighting at several fronts in Kerala, especially against the unfriendly governments. And I put some examples there on cases we actually won. We actually won certain cases where the government of Kerala tried to force certain temples to donate to its flood relief fund. Of course, churches and mosques were exempt. They only asked the Hindu temples, and they did it. A lot of them did. We went to court, and the High Court of Kerala reversed it, and 18 crore rupees had to be refunded to the temples by the government. Another case was a saffron flag case, which is like this. The government of Kerala decided that the saffron flag should be banned in Hindu temples from then on. And again, we went to court and had it reversed. But did anybody see it on the media? Did anybody read about it? None of the mainstream media is even talked about it. Why? Because of what I said before. Hinduism, Hindu culture is always portrayed in a negative way. We always get only negative stories. We never get anything positive. Now, Hindu Seva Kendram has an administrative committee, and this is called a Hindu Seva Samiti. And I gave the basic structure of it. People from different walks of life, different professions, they come together and run the show in each panchayat. And we train them every 3 months. So Hindu Seva Samiti is the administrative body of the Hindu Seva Kendram in that panchayat. So every panchayat will have a Hindu Seva Samiti. Other goals: obtain government assistance for needy Hindus. Right now, most poor Hindus do not get any assistance from the government simply because they don't know. They don't know what to apply for. So there's a lot of programs from the central government, especially for poor Hindus, but they don't even know about it. So we have to make them aware and apply on their behalf, assist educating Hindu children academically and spiritually. So have dharmic education classes. Every Kendram will have a library with basic Hindu texts, a study center, and of course, like I said before, counseling for women and children and nurturing entrepreneurs. In other words, have more businesses opened by Hindus, increase the Hindu cash flow in the community, and make the entire Hindu population more prosperous. And long term, we want to expand all over India. We have already started working in Tamil Nadu. People in other states have expressed interest. And we also have something called Agastya Research Foundation, which is our academic wing. I'm not going into that in detail. It's based in Bangalore. Our project timeline, very simple. In Kerala, Hindus are suffering from severe time deficiency. We don't have much time left. We better do something quickly. So we want to cover all of Kerala by the end of 2022. It's a tough task. It's a laborious task. Nobody has attempted this before, but we simply cannot slack. We don't have any time, so we have to do this. So we have opened 64 panchayats, and we want to reach 500 by the end of this year, and all of Kerala by 2022. To do this kind of work, we need financial support because we are attempting something nobody has done before, to reach every Hindu in Kerala and other states. So we need financial help. This is a typical budget of one panchayat. So I broke it down to office rent, salary, utilities, internet. All of that comes to approximately 25,000 rupees a month for a Kendram to work in one panchayat. Of course, we need computers and printers. And how do we get financial support? We ask everybody, but one important thing we differentiate from the rest of the crowd is that we are not asking for permanent support. Every Hindu Seva Kendram is supposed to be self-sufficient within a maximum of 2 years. If possible, by 1 year. How? I'm coming to that in a later slide, but self-sufficiency like a church or like a mosque. If you drive by a church, you know instinctively, and they don't wait for a check from the Vatican before they pay their power bill or water bill. They get all that support from their own community. This is a new concept for Hindus, but we are implementing it at every panchayat we are opening. So different ways they can support Hindu Seva Kendram by a fixed amount per month. Every donor gets a monthly report. We may be one of the very few charities who do that, a monthly report. And of course, they're welcome to visit. And people with the financial wherewithal can adopt a Kendram, or people have adopted more than one. How do they do that? I put it down there. It's approximately $4,000 a year for that first year. It's about $4,000, and that's another way we can get the support. In other words, we need all the support ASAP to save Kerala. 5 years from now, this discussion will be moot because things may be too late then, or things will be too late. So how do we sustain the model in a panchayat? People have asked this question because they said, well, you want them to be self-sufficient after 2 years. This is how we do it. We already have detailed blueprints of this by creating self-help groups, promoting local businesses, increasing the Hindu cash flow, microfinancing. We already have a microfinancing arm of the Hindu Seva Kendram, which will go into each panchayat and work. In other words, we will create that self-sustained community funding. Only then a Hindu Seva Kendram will become self-sufficient, and Hindus will be able to stand up and be proud about themselves, not by getting help from outside. Of course, we want to help from outside in the initial year or two, but after that, they should be on their own. And how will the funds be utilized? The funds you provide us will be used for infrastructure, overhead expenses, individual Seva activities, and we are aiming to connect Hindu donors worldwide directly to needy Hindus. So there is no middleman and there's no deduction of any kind. We want to maintain full financial transparency, where at the end of each year, we will have a financial report on our website. How do we report and monitor? Like I said before, every donor, even if they pay 1 rupee, will get a monthly report. We may be the only charity I know which sends out monthly reports to every donor. We set that bar very high because we want to make sure that we do good work. We will have an annual report, but a monthly report is a must. Anybody who has contributed to us, they know they get that monthly report. Every Hindu Seva Kendram will be monitored from the central location financially, performance-wise, because we have to make sure that their money transactions are done correctly. We will monitor them. And of course, their performance, how much work they do to emancipate and uplift the Hindus. That also will be monitored. This is the way we accept money in the US. For US taxpayers, we have a 501c3 we established a couple of years ago. It's called a Hindu Service Foundation, and these are the details of that, our banking details, and we also have a website. In India, we can accept donations through the Hindu Seva Kendram Trust, which is a Government of India registered trust, and this is their detail in India. And this is our website and our Facebook page. Please go there because we have so many stories every day we update. Obviously, we cannot put every bit of work we do on the web page or Facebook because it's too many in a way, but we do put a lot of them every day, and feel free to go and see them and read more and understand more about us. So in conclusion, I don't want any Hindu to suffer. We don't want any Hindus to starve. And in other words, we want to provide that social support structure, which is how I started the talk, by which every Hindu will have somewhere they can go, somewhere they can talk to. So that loneliness or helplessness which haunts every Hindu in the world, we want to remove that one panchayat at a time. We want to remove that and make Hindus a proud society. And with this, I want to thank you for listening. Please feel free to ask any questions and I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening. Namaste. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Please feel free to ask questions and I can go into depth on any of these topics and we can clear your questions and move forward.
Thank you, Shashiji. Thank you so much. And we've received a ton of comments and ton of support for you. People are asking about whether you're registered in the United States, and I understand that you are, right? We are registered in the United States. I think some of that information is posted in the comments section by us, so that people can take notes. And Shashiji, I think it's a wonderful initiative. You have so many aspects covered in this, helping out at the social level and providing that infrastructure that is missing, in our country for Hindus. So I think one of the questions we have is, what makes you unique as an organization? How is HSK unique?
Well, namaste, Richaji. What makes us unique? I'll answer that in a roundabout way. Hindu Seva Kendram aims to reach every Hindu. We don't differentiate in any way. Our only denominator is, are you a Hindu? If the answer is yes, then we are with you. And we go into each panchayat with the sole purpose of reaching out to every Hindu and create that Hindu database and analyze the database and work on it. In other words, we are not sitting in an office trying to help Hindus as they come along. We actually go out to them. There are a lot of Hindus who, out of sheer pride, never will come out of their homes. They would rather starve. They would never ask for help. So we want to break that ice and go back into the community and reach every Hindu. This is what I think makes us unique. Plus, there's something else, which is we do not do any seva without follow-up. One of the main reasons we find Hindu seva not having its own sustenance, or it doesn't survive beyond the seva part, it doesn't promote more and more Hindu activism, is because of lack of follow-up. Hindu Seva Kendram wants to stop that completely. Every seva we do, there will be a follow-up. We will make sure that the recipients understand it. We'll make sure that every recipient understands they were helped because a fellow Hindu felt that they needed help. It's because of that Hindu brotherhood or sisterhood that they were helped. Therefore, every Hindu aid recipient should become thankful to Hindutva. We want to promote Hindutva. We want Hindus to be thankful to each other. If one Hindu gets help today and tomorrow he or she sees another starving Hindu, he or she should automatically go to their help. If we don't do that, then in the long run, we won't succeed. So Hindu Seva Kendram is very particular to do 100% follow-up on every recipient of help.
Dr. Vishwanath, this is Dr. Ratnu from Jaipur. Namaste.
Namaste, namaste.
I have been completely bowled over by your presentation, because this has been our quest for pretty much long time, that a Hindu organization which reaches to the village level. My question to you is, how do you reach out to fellow Hindus to actually market your work? Like what we're doing here at the VSI is actually taking your work to the Hindu Samaaj all over the globe. My suggestion or a question is, have you reached out to the Malayali community placed in such important places globally, for example, in the Gulf and even in the West, so we could have a critical mass to support these beautiful projects? I have committed 2100 rupees per month, as long as I'm alive and as long as HSK is functioning.
Namaste.
But we need to, really take this to the next level. That's my question and my suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again for your support. The way we do that is very simple. We have support groups for Hindu Seva Kendram in different parts of India. For example, in Hyderabad, we have Bangalore, we have one in Mumbai. We have support groups in some parts of the Middle East. Of course, we have our limitations. We have Hindu Seva Kendram groups in UK, and we have groups in Canada, and we have Hindu Seva Kendram support groups in almost every major city in the US. I wouldn't say every city, but major metropolitan areas, we have support groups. And we do talk, we do discuss, we try to bring more awareness. We don't see this as a Malayali Hindu problem. We see this as a pan-Hindu issue. For example, if I see a starving Hindu in Trinidad, I should feel just as much pain. I should try to do help. So I take this message to non-Malayalis also. Any Hindu I see, I think I should talk to them, and we do. We do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Namaste. Namaste.
Shashiji, there's one last question that we can take, and this is from Mr. Rama Kumar Amritavakula, and he has actually committed also to help adopt a few villages. So I think that is going to be great. And he's asking about the love jihad issue that is so extreme in Kerala right now. So I think I would like you to take that. But, there are a lot of people who have committed and want to help. And I think, can we just say the name of your website or where they can connect with you? We are also going to post it on the comments section. But if you say it, that'll be better.
Yes, if a donor in India wants to donate, all they have to do is to go to hindusevakendram.org. Just one word, hindusevakendram.org, and they have the capacity to contribute. If there is a donor in the United States and they want to make use of a tax deduction, then we have something called Hindu Service Foundation. hinduservicefoundation.org has its own website, and they're both in the comment section. I see that. Please visit either one, and depending on where you want to contribute, it should be fairly easy at that point. One question about love jihad. Yes, very important question. Kerala is the epicenter of love jihad. Nobody doubts it. It's the epicenter. And in fact, we are the only organization in Kerala who has actually gone and rescued Hindu girls. Not an easy task. We have intervened in more than 12,500 love jihad cases and rescued more than 8,500. And we have all the experience with love jihad. Love jihad is a very complicated subject. In fact, I believe we have the most experience with love jihad anywhere in the world. And I don't say that in a trivial way. It really is true. We have cases of love jihad every week. And like I said, more than 8,500 or total of more than almost 13,000 cases we have intervened in. It itself must be a number worth talking about. So we are on the ground. We are the only organization on the ground in Kerala who actually does something on the ground and physically rescuing a girl, legally pursuing it in court, and everything in between. We are the only ones who do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And my friend Shubha Shalini ji, who actually I know she supports your organization. And, I think one of her great suggestion is that people should get together in a group and plan to adopt a center. It just takes around $350 a month, and it can actually save so many lives and help so many Hindus. And what Shashi ji has said, Hindu brotherhood and sisterhood is so important at this time when there is obviously a direct or indirect attack on, many of our cultural and civilizational values. So Shashiji,
Can I add one last comment, please, Richaji, if you don't mind?
sure.
The comment is very simple. Every Hindu can be part of this. You don't have to have the financial wherewithal to adopt a Kendram. Everyone can donate a small amount per month, even a monthly donation of 10 rupees a month, or 100 rupees a month, or $10 a month. Everything helps. In fact, I think the strength is in those monthly donations done by ordinary Hindus. We should never ignore that strength of regular monthly contribution, however small. So I would urge every viewer, every Hindu, to make a contribution to the cause of however small the amount is. So please think about that. Even a monthly contribution of a small amount would be very, very useful for our dharma.
I think everyone can save and, at least donate a little bit every month, to help out. And here, Mr. Venkat Putukuri, who runs Dana Dharma in Andhra Pradesh, wants to collaborate with your organization. I think that is a great idea for Hindu organizations to build that networking, to build that, cohesive support system. So, you can, build on that momentum of the groundwork they already have in Andhra Pradesh. So I want to thank everyone who's donating and opening up their wallets, and appreciate all of your help. Please, think about it. Like Shobhaji just wrote, whatever money we give in the temples may or may not go for Hindu causes. And Shashiji, I want to thank you for coming and presenting, and for all your time here and all the work that you do.
Namaste.
Namaste, Shashiji.